your little biography first. You were born in San Francisco, I understand.
Right. 1940, November 27th, Sagittarius.
Ah. A diplomat. And you moved to Hong Kong shortly after?
Yes, when I was 3 months old.
3 months old, you moved to Hong Kong.
Yes.
And you were educated in Hong Kong?
Partly, when I was, up to around 18 years old,
Uh-huh.
I moved back to the States, and I was attending the University of Washington in Seattle.
I see. What was your major?
Are you ready for it?
Yes.
Philosophy, man.
Beautiful. I understand you were a child actor in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I started acting when I was around 6 years old.
What kind of things did you do?
Well, mainly, unimportant things.
They're very important to me. For instance.
Up to around when I was 18 years old, I did something like, a co-starring role. Other than that, it's kind of like, not that important.
Were you in things with your father?
Well, no, not really. My father was in the Chinese opera.
Uh-huh.
A completely different thing, and I never did like that,
Yeah.
I rather like, to watch the Lone Ranger,
I understand your father was fairly famous in the Chinese opera.
Yes, he was.
Is he still alive?
Oh, he passed away in 1965.
What was his name?
Lee, L-E-E,
Uh-huh.
and then H-O-I,
Uh-huh.
C-H-U-E-N, no, wait a minute, C-H-U-E-N, that's right, Chuan.
I see. How many languages do you speak?
Well, Cantonese,
Yes.
English, and a little bit of Mandarin.
I see. And you make your films now in Chinese, I understand.
In Mandarin, yes.
In Mandarin they're made.
Yes.
I see. Was your mother in the theater too?
No, she isn't.
No?
No.
What is your nationality? What do you feel your nationality is?
U.S., of course, because I hold a U.S. passport.
I see.
And, as soon as I finish with all these, things here,
Uh-huh.
I would like to move, back and, just stay there,
You will move back to the U.S.
Yeah.
May I ask, what is your height? How tall are you?
5'7.5".
7.5. And your weight?
140.
140?
Yeah.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. What is your religion?
None whatsoever.
None. Do you believe in God?
To be perfectly frank, I really do not.
Okay. Did you ever have any other jobs besides being an actor?
Yes. I was teaching martial arts.
In the United States?
Yes.
In San Francisco or Los Angeles?
Well, I had 3 schools, one in Oakland,
Uh-huh.
one in Seattle,
Uh-huh.
and one in Los Angeles. And then later on, I just closed them, and just taught private lessons.
What were they called?
My type of martial arts.
Well, you're in Jeet Kune Do?
Yes, exactly.
I see. Is that what the school is called? The Jeet Kune Do School?
Well, actually, I do not believe in schools,
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether you have read my Black Belt magazine article.
Yes, I have.
You have. Well, more and more I believe, here is you have 2 hands and 2 legs. And the thing is how to make good use of yourself, and that's about it. Style kind of restricts you to one way of doing it, and therefore limiting your human capacity,
I see. You said in Black Belt that man, the living creature, the creating individual, is always more important than any established style. Does this mean that you change your style all the time in karate?
I mean this. I mean that man is always in a learning process, whereas style is a concluding, established, solidified something,
Yeah.
You cannot do that, because you learn every day as you grow on.
When did you begin studying the martial arts? At what age?
When I started?
Yes.
13.
13. Did you study with any famous sensei?
Well, I studied under YIT-MAN.
Uh-huh.
Chinese, it's a Chinese art, you know.
That is the name of a man or the name of the art?
The name of my instructor.
Oh, I see. And what form of the martial arts was that?
The style is WING and then CHUN.
Uh-huh. And is that anything, is that a Chinese form of karate?
Well, actually, you cannot call it a Chinese form of karate because karate came after the Chinese
Uh-huh.
kung fu. I mean, it's Chinese kung fu, actually.
Oh, it's kung fu.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, all this, karate and all these things came after that.
I see. Have you ever been married? Are you married?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I got 2 kids.
You do. How long have you been married?
Oh, I've been married now for around 9 years.
9 years. What is your wife's name?
Linda.
Linda. Is she Chinese or American?
She's American.
She's American. What are your hobbies? What do you do to relax?
What do I do to relax?
Yes.
Work. and work out and doing the things that I want, like taking movies and things like that.
How many hours a week do you spend practicing Jeet Kune Do?
Average around 2 hours a day.
About 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Is there a difference? You said something in the Black Belt article that there's no difference between a Japanese martial artist and a Chinese martial artist who come to Jeet Kune Do. Could you explain?
Well, you see, like many people come up to an instructor. Most of them, they say, hey man, like, what is the truth? Would you hand it over to me? So therefore, one guy would say, now, I'll give you my Japanese way of doing it. And then another guy would say, I'll give you the Chinese way of doing it. To me, that's all baloney, because unless they are men with 3 hands, or they are men with 4 legs, then they are a different way of doing it. But since we only have 2 hands and 2 legs, nationalities don't mean anything. I mean, these, you can say there are different approaches, And we certainly must not limit to one approach.
Yes.
We must approach it with ourselves, Art is the expression of ourselves. Whereas if you go to a Japanese style, then you are expressing the Japanese style. You are not expressing yourself, you see.
You also say that life is a constant process of relating in talking about Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you see, because, for instance, when I see a Japanese martial artist, I can see the advantage and I can see the disadvantage. In that sense, I'm relating to them, you see. And man is living in a relationship. And in relationship, we grow, you see.
Yes. But this philosophy that you have, doesn't it go against much of what is taught in martial arts by normal instructors?
Well, I guess because, see, most of them, they are so doggone stubborn,
Yes.
I mean, 200 years ago, I am taught like this, therefore,
Yeah.
I mean, if you maintain that type of attitude, I mean, you had it. I mean, we will be still back in, we will never grow because, learning is discovering things. It's a constant discovering thing.
Yes.
Whereas if we follow the old method, it is a continuous repetition of what is being handed down several hundred years ago.
You said that at age 18 in 1940 you returned to the United States. You came back to where, Los Angeles?
In where now?
1958, you came back to Los Angeles?
1959, I went to San Francisco first. And then I went up to Seattle.
Oh, that's right. Then you went to school. When did you become a professional actor?
That's a very funny story. See, because when I went back to the States, I really didn't think, I said, shit, here I am with a Chinese. Not prejudice or anything, but really in realistic thinking. How many times in film is a Chinese required?
Right.
And when it is required, it is always branded as the typical,